Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Indonesia Designer English Talk. And today we are
Third
going
episode.
to talk with Mas Yoki Tyas Riesmana from Surabaya, Indonesia. And from the last episode, we have talked with Mas Boris, and it's about us answering the question about how to become the user interface designer from the perspective of professional level. And today we're going to talk more about to answer that question from the perspective of a freelancer. And this is very special because Mas Yoki is actually my mentor in top one of the crowdsourcing platform, Top Coder. So I met Mas Yoki in one of the design competition. At the moment, we went together to Washington DC, United States, to compete together among the top 10 designers from Top Coder. And it's very interesting because Yoki is one of the most successful member of Top Coder, and he also have got several opportunity to compete amongst the top designers around the world. And yeah, let's digging more about the answer of that question, guys. So, Mas Yoki, how's it going?
Hai Mas Inika, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you for this opportunity. Actually, I'm not that successful, but I just felt lucky to be like a long time freelance designer.
Mhm.
So where do you want to start?
I want to start this conversation with Yoki about this topic is by asking about the recognition of Indonesia designers among the global community, right? Do you think that Indonesia designers is like have recognitions in the global world? I mean, what kind of achievement Indonesia designers have according to you from your perspective?
That's absolutely right. Indonesian designer already well known in the UI UX worldwide. We have many great designers from Indonesia who inspiring other designers around the world, like Mas Gani Pradita and Mas Boris, and we have like Mas Yoga who expertise in logo design, and we have like many illustrator, great illustrator. Who bring our culture like batik art and other art from Indonesia to get acknowledgement from the world. So I think we have strong historical culture, and we can show to other designer.
Right.
And other designer from around the world only known that Indonesian designer is a world class designer. There's no different Indonesian designer from the others.
Right. And also that kind of phenomenon is really like inspire a lot of people, especially among Indonesia designers. Because seeing many of our friends is among top 10 list of dribbles players, and also maybe some of our friends also become champion in many design competitions, and it really motivates most people, and they really want to be like them. And what we see from that kind of things, to be like them requires a lot of creativity among visual explorations, and maybe like on the designs competition, what you need to do is just to deliver the high fidelity designs. And this also becomes such a confusion for many people who want to just getting started in designs, like aiming to be like you, Mas Yoki, to be like really successful in a competitive design world by participating in many competitions and making money from competitions. And also when we are talking about UI UX world in more professional level, many people suggest people to learn more about the fundamental of UI UX design.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice you really want to give to people when they want to starting learning about UI UX thing?
Cool. Okay. Right now we are talking about the freelancer way, because the previous the interview, we already heard from the professional way, which is brought by Bang Boris. Okay. There are several types of freelancer, especially in UI UX designer. Firstly, I just like a freelancer from the competition or crowdsourcing platform, and then there are freelancer who also doing the creating asset and sell them to the marketplace. And also there are also freelancer who create a studio and also build a portfolio and then attract client to work with project base. Okay. So I want to tell my story about becoming a UI UX designer in the freelancer way in a competition platform. There are several different reasons why I choose to become a freelance designer in competition platform. The main reason is back then I need money, I need extra income, so I want to search additional income by creating by working in different job or different expertise. Back then I was ordinary factory employee. I worked at the electronic factory for the 6 year, and I saw my friend joining in top coder design. They also won several challenge. So had proved that they got extra money from the freelance or competition platform. So at that time I was afraid to join them because I had very little knowledge of design and also especially about the web design. Back then we just focusing on web design and other like infographic, poster. The UI UX terminology is not that familiar at that time. So after the situation getting rough, so I really need extra money, and then I decided to join one of the challenge. It was a Panacea medical mobile apps challenge, and I have friend who told me about how to join the top coder, understanding the requirement, the brief, and how to submit. And also he gave me several design resource to learn. Back then we don't have internet as right now, so mostly we searching the design article from the office, and then we download it and save it and bring it to our home. Starting freelance career in the competition platform is kind of challenging because we just start to learn, and there's so many terminology about the industry, about the business, that it's very new to us. And also as a new member of the top coder or other competition platform, we always avoid the veteran members. We always avoid the veteran designer because we knew that we cannot won this challenge if they are also join the same challenge. So at first we don't want to aim high because we know our skill, um, we know our capability. So um, winning a challenge like dreaming. In top order, there are checkpoints phase. In every checkpoint phase, we can get the prize money. Back then it starts from the $25 until $100, depend on the challenge scope. So back then I as a new designer, a newcomer, I only aim that prize. You know, I want to aim the small prize and never look for the bigger prize. So I only focus on the design requirement, read it well. If I found or if I encounter the new terminology, I will search from the internet or asking friends. But back then, mostly we are creating a game UI for the game apps, mobile game apps. So which game is my hobby. So I don't have too much difficulty back then to create the UI for the games, for the game apps. Lose and win is not that important for me because I felt like I found a new world when I joined in the top coder. I can learn about designing. Also, every work I done, it's got the appreciation from the client. Even it's in the feedback or win a small checkpoint prize, it doesn't matter because I know that my design is was liked by client, and I'm really happy about that. So I kind of addicted to join the more challenge. Of course, I also learn new design, the new style, and the new device because the spec requirement. I keep searching and learning the new thing from the top order platform. Top order platform, we have several competition platform like 99 Design, crowd sourcing design, and also top order itself. I already tried several of them, and looks like top order is it's my it's my journey.
It's quite interesting. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, keep going, Mas Yoki. Sorry.
No, it's okay, please.
Yeah, I'm interested when you say that you choose top coders among any other crowdsourcing platform. You mentioned about 99 Designs, like Freelancer.com and other crowdsourcing platform. But in reality, like many designers would try top coder for the first time, they are give up, right? Give up because the challenge is so complicated and the requirement is so like the problem is not a common problem. It's more like really makes us think about the solution in more difficult level. What makes you able to survive in that kind of challenges, and why you think many people don't able to survive?
Yeah, luckily back then top order requirement is not that hard like right now. You know, we have several challenges from the presentation, creating icons, logo, 3D, infographics, poster, and other stuff design. So there are so many options about the design type of the competition. So I was trying all of them. And luckily I get success, and because the top coder also um, have like a big client, um, they have a long time client with a big name like GE, John Hancock, and Ferguson. And back then we have also PayPal, Facebook, and also Microsoft. So when we deal with the big company client, we never expect that it will become like easy brief or easy requirement. There is never be easy requirement when you are dealing with a big company, with a big project. So the choice is whether you want to join it or leave it.
Nice.
Luckily, I already start from the 2010. I already get used to competing in top coder, and the most thing I love in top coder is the community. It's in design competition we have a competitor, but in the forum we feel like we are friends. We are doing the same problem. We are working the same project. So it's more kind of like a friendly environment. Different designer have a different question, and other designer also give an answer, helping the solution, helping give them the link to learn, and also teach them how to understand the requirements. So I think it's the most important why I enjoy it and stay long in top coder.
Yeah, nice. So you say that top coder offer more than just a prize money. They also offer
Yes.
about how the learning about the big problem of the big company, and also on how you can make new friends from the community. So back to the first original question, Mas Yoki. So when people asking like how to start becoming a UI UX designer, what actually you want to answer?
Oh yes. What I did to become the UI UX designer is completely different. And not that completely different, but it's already shifting. Because we know that right now we have we can get easy the good internet connection. There are so many resources in the internet about the UI UX designer, UI UX design. So I would like to give my bit of advice, maybe in more the common or general ways. First, if we are new about the UI UX designer, the first thing we want to do is like we can start learning by seeing or analyzing things that we interact with or see in everyday activities like mobile phone, mobile application, website, and television and other digital screen we met where the UI is being used. We mostly use mobile phone in our life. So but most of people did not recognize that they are doing the UI and UX. What they seen is the UI. So okay, when we already know about what is UI, what it look like, so we start several steps. First, my advice is take a baby steps. We can learning how to use a design tool, because becoming a UI designer, learning and mastering the design tool is a must. We can learn a design tool while creating design using the ATM method, amati, tiru, modifikasi, or the ACM, analyze, copy, and modify. You know there's you heard this a lot, the ATM method, but many great designer, mostly designer, also recommend the same method to learn the UI and UX. After we learn, after we take the baby step by learning the design tool and creating design, the next advice is be patient in every steps, in every process. We can only move to the next step after we complete or we have the enough experience from the previous step. At this step, we also build our knowledge about the UI, about using the design tool, and we also need to challenge ourselves in any condition. For example, while we're still learning the design tool, when we are creating the design using the ATM method, we should aim and dare to take the harder challenge. For example, we can challenge ourselves by doing or by creating one screen design using ATM method. Maybe we can complete it in 2 days, and then we should challenge ourselves. Okay, I want to create more design with the ATM method. I want to create 3 website screen. I want to challenge myself to complete it in just 1 day. That's how to challenge ourselves. Also, we must know and we should find a good design reference. Right now, there's so many design reference online. Dribbles, we can use Behance, Instagram, Pinterest. There's also Mobin. I think that's enough to be our design reference.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
And the next thing is we should learn design from the online source, like article in a Medium and podcast, YouTube, or other e-course, because we don't have any excuses when trying to look or to search the design resource. Also, we can start learning about the device itself. We have several device, a mobile phone, tablet, and also a desktop screen. We have Android, we have iPhone, we have Windows and Mac, and each device has a different challenge and different needs. We also learn about the different industry. For example, in medical, in e-commerce, in transportation, we can learn about the new industry, the new design in the new industry by doing like installing their apps and trying their apps. The next step is we should build a strong understanding about the design fundamental, because at first I was ignoring the design fundamental, and after a few years I felt like my design skill, my design knowledge is not improving. What's wrong? And then I start reading from the basic again. I start learning the very basic design fundamental, like typography, icon, and layout, contrast, and color theory, and it's very helpful to improve our design and decision. Don't forget to learn and build a strong design fundamental understanding. Also, don't forget to join design communities. This is also important, because from the design communities you can learn about the update design technology. You can learn about the successful designer, You can learn about anything about being how to get the new client, how to creating design a new device. So you can ask or maybe you can get a mentor from the design community, because when you're learning, it's okay learning by yourself, learning from the internet, but I suggest you should get a mentors. Mentors can speed up your learning process and guide you to the right and more efficient path. So we can learn from their experience, we can get their insight, mostly about their experience and about their problem. And getting mentors in the online world is not complicated and it's not that hard. But how to get mentor is a different thing, because we see that many younger people forget about the ethic, the how to say adapt, how to say
Ethic, yeah. The manner.
Yeah. How to say yes. Forget about the good manners when they are dealing with the older people, the more experienced people. Sometimes they forget that, and that's make then the mentors become like not comfortable. So I think we should learn from the basic, improving our manners as a human, as the each people, as the Asian people. Also, after that, we already joined the design community. We also practicing with ATM method. Right now, what we are doing is we also need to take real or fake project. We're not just creating a good UI visual design, but we also want to know the story behind it. Why we use this button? Why we use this color? Why use this step? Or why we use this interaction? We should know about any story behind it. So fake or real project, it's very helpful. By doing many projects from different kind of industry and business, it will add our understanding about the current technology and the UI UX problem.
Right.
I think when you build or when you take a real or fake project by creating like fake study case, you can also joining or being a part-time in the startup, joining or part-time in the design studio. There are so many ways to learn about involved in the design project.
Right.
The most thing to do, we should build a portfolio. Client or other people will not know us by our name, but we will get acknowledgement by our work. But not just like random exploration. As we know, there are many younger designer want to take the shortcut by copying other designer work and just change the color bit and claim it to be their work. And sometimes then only a few rectangle shape and put nice 3D image, nice landscape image from the stock image website and claim it as a UI design exploration, which is not the right way to learn the UI design, because they want to get the acknowledgement from the other designer as fast as possible. That's not the goal. How to learn how to become the UI designer.
Yeah. So all the advice you just give to us is more focused on how to become a good user interface designer, like Mas Yoki, like talking about fundamental on its components and all the visual things, like how to like amati tiru modifikasi things. It's more like being applied into user interface things. What I'm really curious most is about how is your user experience process as a freelancer, because I know that what's being most of the concern in the major UI UX design community is about many people are really tends to focus on visual exploration, only like give a short and exploration about visual, but people don't know it's about the user experience process behind it. And I really know that you are one of the figures successful in the competitive design world. Do you have like exact like design user experience process that you want to share to us?
Yeah. that's the main. That's not the problem, but that's the main fact that as a freelance designer in the competition platform, mostly we are not doing most of the UX process because client or the customer already give us their research. They give us the data, any information regarding the requirement, the design requirement. So, but what we need to do is asking a question. We need to take a look any other document they provided, and we try to understand about their business and their product, and we are also looking a bit, we are doing a little or small research about their competitor. There are so many literature, maybe so many examples from the internet, especially when we're dealing with the new terminology. For example, there are so many terminology in the medical world that we don't understand. What I was doing, like I really searched it in the Google. I said what it means, and it apparently it's like kind of like the terminology of the disease. So, and then I start to look more deep about what kind of information we can extract from the terminology in the disease. For example, about the diabetes, we know that there are medical units like blood, and then heart is like BPM, beat per minute, and other medical terminology. So I think start searching and start understanding your client first. Start understanding about their company, about their business, about their product. And when you found any question, in every competition platform, there is forum where we can always ask any question about the spec, about the requirement, about the client. So I think ask more so we can get the more insight, the more correct answer. So when we already get a little bit of the UX data, UX information we can start creating the solution with UI design.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when you say that the user experience process that has been done by the client, right? And it sounds like when we're talking about the UX methodology and many people advising people who just getting started in the UI UX world to learn more about design thinking, to learning more about how to conduct some design sprint, some workshop, how to really understand the problem, how digging more the problem and over the solutions. And when you say about that, it seems like when we opening a contest and really want to participate in the challenges in a crowdsourcing platform, the requirement for us is just to deliver the user interface, the high fidelity, because all the problem has been stated in the brief. But what you do actually is to really understand more about the problem, not only just read the things they provide, but to really to answer all of the curiosity you have about the problem. And how does it really affect on how you create the user interface, Mas Yoki? On how you can,
Mostly client is very pleased about the question I asked and about the solution I gave. What I'm aiming is like I want to create design that solve the client problem. So I want to make design that not just solve but give just a bit a wow factor from the visual design, maybe from the UX experience by like adding like cognitive design. For example, we have like using AI maybe chatbot. It's a simple example for the cognitive design or AI usage. We can give more suggestion about the simplicity, about the efficiency, information from the spec itself.
I see.
Because
so the wow factor.
When your client feeling lucky, they will feel happy and will recommend it, your work, or they will it's kind of like your achievement, delivering a good design solution, not just visual design but understanding the problem. I know it's kind of like hard to do. When we are reading the requirement, understanding, and at the same time we are also thinking how to visualize it in design.
Right. Okay, so also related to what I just said, do you think that as people who focus on the design competition like you, who only not only but who create solution to the client by delivering the high fidelity user interface, do you think the designer need to know about the user experience fundamental, for example, like what I just mentioned, to know about design thinking, about the design sprints, all the fundamental things of creating solution for the customer?
Yeah, this is kind of like tricky, but UX itself is kind of like it sounds like very hard to learn. UX, there's no fun thing in UX. I mean, when we start learning the UI design, and then we are take a peek about the UX, it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to do the UX design because there's so many
complicated.
There's so many textual methodology. There's so many like research and something that not related with the visual design. This is where we feel that we are wrong, because UI is part of the UX. So for the freelance, I think most of the time we only focus on the UI first, and then we start learning a bit of UX, like why we use this color, why we use this size on the particular button, how the screen interaction change, and how the user interact with the register form. We also need to learn about a bit of UX. Yeah, it's kind of not hard, but it needs extra time. It needs extra effort to learn the complete UX process. And I don't think that a new UI designer comfortable learning the complete UX process.
Right. And in fact, what you're doing for the crowdsourcing platform, like, it's interesting because you're actually working solution for the enterprise level, right? You mentioned a big and top Fortune name like GE, like John Hancock, who is actually a top Fortune company, and you are the one who like trying to provide solution for them. And this is also part of their design thinking process, right? In their company, like having as much idea as possible is the part of the ideation process in the company. So actually, even you are not really getting into UX methodology, you are contributing in the UX process in the big company, in the enterprise level. And is there any things you learn, Mas Yoki, from having taking part on that thing?
Yeah, I never talk about working in the big project. I only focusing about how to simplify this process, how to make a user is more comfortable and understand about using this product. So I only focus on that. So I think it's the most important is to make user easy using our product.
Is there anything you learned from that that's really broaden your view, or have you give you deeper understanding about the design world?
How to say this? We don't have much time to doing the research and comparing, or maybe doing the A/B testing like we should do, but we can take or maybe we can learn the best practice about the same problem for or in different apps. For example, we want to simplify the step in registration process. We know that there are so many examples about the registration process, about the registration screen. How we can accommodate and getting more simple and best UI experience from the sample we found, or from the reference we found.
Right. And according to you, Mas Yoki, you know that the company who hire the crowdsourcing platform and give the solution, give the problem to the community like you to work on that solution is a big company, and I think that they have a very big budget on conducting the real design thinking process. And what's the reason why they hire people like you to work on their solution? Not hire, but really giving that into the community, like putting them into the crowdsourcing platform and ask as many designers as possible to give their own solution. Why do they create that? And also it can be like inspiring for people, for company in Indonesia who just new to the crowdsourcing thing, and maybe also consider that as the part of their design thinking process.
Okay. That's interesting question. Maybe we cannot directly give the right solution at that time. What the big company need or what the big company get by doing the crowdsourcing platform project is like it can spark new ideas, just like Mas Jandi has said. That every designer has a different understanding, has a different perspective, seeing the problem and giving the solution. That's what they want to see. That's what they want to know about. Is there any possibility? Is there any simple, the more simple way to solve this problem. Is there any uh, aspect that we miss from the apa? From our requirement? And you know, when creating ideas, it's the best to communicate, or maybe in giving the problem in many people, because everyone has a different perspective, every people have different understanding, and every designer has a different solution.
Nice.
So I think the big company, especially their design team, also has a better understanding about their product, about the problem. At least they can see, or maybe pick the idea that spark, or that vibe with their need.
So sparking new ideas, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
as we know that in Top Coder, it's not just designing. We have several steps, several process. Usually, what client get is the end product. We have like a development process, we have a QA process. So I think it's not just graphic design. It's not just 2D design or maybe a static prototype, but in Top Coder, every not every project, but most project is going forward until the development process.
So yeah, it's a full cycle. All right, so let's see the comment section. I think you have some people commenting. It will be great if we can get the details of the speaker Facebook LinkedIn. So I think some people still don't know about you, Mas Yoki. I also forgot to introduce yourself. So yeah, or maybe just give some context about yourself, Mas Yoki, and maybe what you're doing, what kind of things that keep you busy right now.
Can you repeat the question, Mas Chandika? Sorry.
No, I think some people still don't know about you, and maybe can you give some context about the things you do, what you do for a living, maybe some things that keep you busy nowadays.
My name is Yoki Riesmana. From the 2010 until now, I'm freelance designer. In the Top Coder platform, is a crowdsourcing platform. It's a competition platform, and I just built a design studio with my friend, with a fellow designer also, and yeah, mostly I work as a freelance designer in a project base.
Nice.
I think that's I don't know. About the UI portfolio and Twitter. I kind of lazy to interact or using the social media a lot. Because I don't know what to say and I don't know what to show. So I think I like to keep it that way, because updating in social media is very time consuming. I think that's all.
Okay.
I cannot blame many people didn't understand, didn't know who I am, because I'm not aiming to make people understand or know who am I. I would like to live in the simple life.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to us, well, Mas Yoki, because I think you're also one figure that represent most of the Top Coder member community. For example, like You guys, we have like 5 times champion of top coder UI design track from Indonesia, but I don't think like many people knows about Bang Junius, right? So, and also many people too as well in top coder community that which I know is very very good designers, but maybe people don't know about them, and maybe it's like you're so comfort in your comfort zone in the community that doesn't think about the outside world of the community.
That's a great question. You know, I'm sorry. Indonesia has a more world-class talent. We have like world-class videographers, Mas Pinot. Yeah, we have 3D or animation design who work at the Pixar studio. We have like a great comic illustrator in Mas Ardiansyah, who draw the Marvel and the DC comic that released in the US. So we have Bang Boris, who work at big company outside Indonesia. We also have Mas Gani, who have many design work that inspiring many other designers around the world. We also have Mas Chandika work at the GE, dealing with the more big client in the US. So I think there's a lot world class talented from Indonesia. From top coder itself, we have a champion. Top coder champion is Bang Junius Alberto, who lives in Medan. He's like 4 or 5 time TCO champion, beating other designer from the other country. We also have like Bang Jack Mastri, who also won the TC champion. We also won and the first woman designer who won the top coder is Farida. Right now, Farida from Medan, she's working, creating like webtoon comic, which is called fairy tale something. And from starting creating a comic, right now she's thinking about creating the motion, the animation from the comic. Yeah, I think there's a lot world-class talented from Indonesia that many people don't know. Because about the current phenomena, we see many viral thing every maybe news, maybe the trend, or maybe the people who going viral. Many people take the assumption about when it goes viral, when someone goes viral, they will perceive that people is the professional, that people is expertise in their world. For example, we have many viral designer. I mean, comparing to other designer who not going viral, maybe some people comparing about the follower, about the viewer, but not about their achievement.
Right. So you
Is
say
that
that it's not
answering
the
your question?
parameter.
Yeah.
So you say
Having
that finding a good inspiration is don't just always judged by its follower, but really digging more about who is the person? Like, is there any Indonesian person who have really good achievement, even they're like being low profile on social media?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to search a good, I mean, a good designer who hide from the social media. Because if we want to really search correctly, we should learn about the article, about the history, and it's not about the platform, who is the top designer and what their achievement. I think we will find many great talent from Indonesia. Not also designer, but also the developer or programmer from Indonesia.
Right. Okay, so let's see. We have another question, Mas Yoki. So, Andi Wijaya Sumartono, what are the recommended tools? That Mas Yoki use for designing? Any good reference for UI UX? Your tools, Mas Yoki.
Tools.
Because we're talking about freelancer, it's more like practical skill things.
What are the tools for the designing? Back then I was not UI UX. I will not call myself as a UI UX designer, because what I'm doing back then, I rather call myself as a graphic designer, because I created poster, I created an icon, 3D illustration, and also 2D illustration, also UI design. So I use a lot tools. I use many design tools from the Adobe Photoshop, and then I use illustration. I use 3D Max. I use SketchUp, and I start using the Sketch. I migrate from Photoshop to Sketch in 2017. I'm not a Mac user back then. I'm using Windows, and suddenly there are many requirements using Sketch. So I think I need to learn the new tools, new design tools. So I learned Sketch. While I'm learning, I'm joining the design competition. So it's kind of like a challenging while you are still learning a new design tool and also competing at the same time. So yeah, I have to give the extra time to work and the less sleep. So I can mastering the new design tool in less time. And then I start thinking, tool is just a tool. So you don't have any particular tools. We will not limit ourselves to specific tool. Learning design tool is easy because the developer or the founder or creator the new design tool is already taught that it should be easy to use. I can use Figma, I can use XD, I can use Principal Design. I still use Photoshop and Illustrator. So the more tool I use, the more opportunity to work with, because not many customer or client is prefer to using the same tool. For example, their client still prefer using the Photoshop, and other client want to use a Figma, and other client prefer to use XD. And I said, okay, it's not a problem because I can use everything. Because tool is just a tool. What I have or what I know is I have a good design fundamental to work with, so I think it's not a problem using any tool. If you new on the UI design, I suggest use the free and free tool like FD if you want to use the offline, or maybe Figma if you want to learn online, and also learning design with the live collaborating. I think Figma is the best so far.
Right. All right. So that's it. Andi Wijaya Sumartma. So let me know if you guys have more questions to Mas Yoki.
Please don't.
All right. So yeah, I think that's all, Mas Yoki, for today's English talk. I appreciate for your time. So again, guys, this is about practicing English and really want to make English more as a habit in our community. So again, thanks Mayuki to talk in English and just to agree about this, and hopefully this can give benefit for you guys. And let me know if you guys have any suggestion, advice, or comment about the next episode who I really need to talk with about discussing how to start career in the UI UX world. So basically it's a series, Mas Yoki. So it's initially started by our live group with people from different profession, Mas Boris, you, and Pico.
Yes.
So maybe in next episode I'm going to talk more about building a studio. So just stay tuned, guys, for the next episode. I think it's going to be interesting to us well. And thanks for watching. And thanks again, Mas Yoki, for your time and for your advice for all of us. It's very, very insightful. And bye-bye, guys. See you again in the next episode. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.